Hello, my children. Welcome to church. I'm Jason Inman.
And I'm Ashley Victoria Robinson, and we are here to give you a review and recap of Preacher, Season 1, Episode 6, Sundowner. Just a warning that this episode is full of major spoilers, so if you haven't seen this episode yet, you might want to come back later. This episode picks off right where the last one left off. We see Jesse and the angels in the same diner talking about the thing that is inside of him, and we finally get the reveal of what it is called. It is called Genesis. Hooray! And they are promptly attacked by a seraphim. You get more of a sense of what the angels are like and how dangerous they can really be. This leads to them returning to the Sundowners Motel where the angels have been staying this whole time, and a very lengthy fight across several scenes between the two angels, Jesse and eventually Cassidy, who interrupts at an untimely moment. I thought that this fight scene was incredible. The cinematography was great behind it. The fight choreography was amazing, and you can tell that most of the actors are doing their own stunt work. Did you think it was as amazing as I did?
No.
Oh, boo.
I thought it was funny, though. I didn't think it was incredible. I mean, there's nothing much to it besides they kept shooting the woman over and over and over again, and then they were like, stop shooting her, let's restrain her. I thought it was a really good shot where they pulled out through the hole and they showed you the perspective from there. And then when Cassidy busted in, there were like hundreds and hundreds. Well, not hundreds, but there was probably like at least 50 bodies in there of all the previous angels. Throughout the entire fight, I kept going, why didn't Jesse just go, stop, sit down to the seraphim, and she would have stopped.
Right, which is something that he later does to the angels to get them to leave him and Cassidy alone when he decides that he doesn't want to give them Genesis back anymore. So it does feel like sort of out of place at that point. I just like found objects, so I thought that fight was particularly interesting. Next, we see Eugene in school in a plot line that pays off in a really weird sort of way. He gets to be chummy, so I thought that was nice. Got to have some friends. And then Tulip weirdly shows up at Emily's house and is like, hey, stay away from my boyfriend, which sort of leads to them coming to an understanding.
Yeah, and then she does a lot of like church errands for her.
Yeah. I kind of thought it was sweet at the beginning, and then it seemed like Emily wasn't too happy about it toward the end.
To me, it kind of screamed like they didn't know what we were going to do with Tulip in this episode, so let's have her do church errands.
Yeah, let's have her have a girlfriend, because that's what we all want. In between there, you see scenes of Miles, who is the mayor of Annville, and how he's trying to deal with what happens. He eventually comes to the church where Jesse is setting up his loudspeaker in front of his congregation, where he is going to bring the word of God to everybody, and kind of admits that he's done something or been party to something horrible.
Well, I guess the thing is that he's wondering whether he should be complicit with the Quincannon murder or not, or whether he should turn Quincannon in or go along with it. And you kind of get the impression that he's just going to go along with it.
Yes. And in between there, you get my favorite scene of Preacher so far, where you see Cassidy and Jesse doing their laundry and having a discussion that I think we should have had by the second or the third episode about what Genesis means and how you're going to deal with it. And you even get Cassidy playing kind of good fiddle to Jesse's bad fiddle. I thought this was an amazing scene. What did you think?
I thought this was an okay scene. I do agree with you. I think that this episode should have been episode 3 of Preacher. I think the buildup of the reveal of the name, what exactly it does, the fact that it's half demon, half angel, which we kind of glossed over. But I don't think this is the best scene in Preacher of all time. I think the best scene in Preacher was the next scene where Tulip comes into the closet. Cassidy is in there. Cassidy's like, oh, you couldn't get enough of me, eh? And she's like, no, I didn't even know you were here. And then Jesse busts in, doesn't know Cassie's in there, and you see was it a mini golf?
Yeah, it's a mini golf putter.
Yeah, mini golf putter, and she's like, "Oh, you kept this," which has significance. And then they leave the closet, and you see the reaction on Cassidy's face that, "Oh, Cassidy is really taken with Tulip, and he's not too happy that they might be getting back together." That to me is their Trinity relationship in one scene, and that again is a scene that I feel we needed earlier in this season, especially if we're going to set up where this series is going to go.
Plus, that's another scene that is shot really beautifully. There's a bird's eye view shot, and the way you see Cassidy, they're lucky that Joseph Gilgan is a really skinny dude, because he's just crammed up against the wall there. And then right before we see the final scenes, you get the revelation that Eugene's new friends aren't going to beat him up like you think is going to happen after all.
I thought it was coming. I thought they were going to just like take him apart.
And they just kind of shoot off fireworks together, and that leads to him feeling unworthy. He gets a really, really nice scene with Jesse that ends in a really terrible
So
way.
he keeps yelling at Jesse over and over and over, and then Jesse eventually uses the word of God and says, "Go to hell, Eugene," and turns around and Eugene is gone. And then we cut really quickly to a burned body, and we see that the mayor is going along with Quincanon's murder, which we kind of already knew anyway. But let's pedal backwards. Arseface is in a hell.
That's so mean. It's so horrible.
Now, again, we don't 100% know that he is in the literal hell. We now know by the rules of the show that heaven exists. There are phones to heaven. Okay, so one can assume that there is a hell as well because they confirm with the demons. Now, we have proved that Jesse's word of God sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. He told that one guy to go open his heart to his mother in the pilot, and he pulled out his heart. So, him saying go to hell to Eugene may not mean demon hell.
It could be Eugene's version of hell.
It could be Eugene's personal hell.
It could be Jesse's version of hell.
It could be any of those things. Now, I think it matters and is most impactful if it is literal demon hell.
Yes.
I think that makes. What do you think about this? This is really scary, I think.
I think it's a really interesting moment because it shows you a lot about Jesse, and it shows you that it's a bad decision that Jesse has kept this power.
And he's gonna kind of he wants to brainwipe the whole town.
Yeah, he says he's going to save the town, and we see him setting up this big megaphone on top of the church. And for me, that sets this up as something very scary that's going to happen next episode. I'm really concerned about when Eugene is coming back because he, for me, more than anyone else, personifies innocence and goodness.
He's the heart of the show.
He is, strangely enough.
So let's move into the rating of this episode. We were between 1 and 5 sheriff stars. What did we give this episode? Episode 6 of Sundowner. Ashley, what are you going to give it?
I am going to give it 4 stars out of 5.
Wow.
I would have given it 5 stars out of 5 if it hadn't been the 6th episode. I think it's a little too late, but if the show keeps going like this, I'm willing to give the first season a pretty high recommendation. How about you?
I'm going to give it 4 as well. This is the best episode of the season so far. It finally pays off. If you saw our episode 1 through 5 review, I had a lot of complaints. I finally feel like we've got the hook. The major dramatic question has finally been answered, and I agree with you. My God, this should have been episode 3, not episode 6.
Yeah.
And if they keep going on this route, I think that this could be a very good season. But it just goes to show you, viewers, that when you spend as a writer all this time trying to just hide everything, we get very bored. But if you, like, they didn't tell us everything. They just said Genesis, and it's half demon, half and half angel. And just that was enough to make us go, oh.
It's actually the same problem that Game of Thrones had until this season as well.
It kind of feels like you're spinning your wheels, and it's like, no. You just have to give us a piece, a little taste, a little nugget. And now I'm excited because, like, oh, is Eugene in hell? Like, are the angels going to come back with a vengeance? Like,
what if he meets the saint of all killers there?
In hell?
Yeah.
I don't know. No, I think that the angels made reference to the Saint of all killers when they were when the taller of the angels says, like, oh, are we gonna go do the thing? And the little one goes, no, it's not time for that yet. I think they're referring to the Saint of all killers.
Interesting.
So there you go, 4 stars.
So overall, we thought this was a really good episode of Preacher with lots of excellent reveals. And if you didn't know, this episode was brought to you by Majorspoilers.com, the comic book website where they love comics, and they know that you do too. If you also loved this episode, go down to the comments and tell us what you thought about it. And while you're down there, why don't you click on the subscribe button? And Jason, don't you have something to reveal as well?
Yes, we have a summer crate, the Jawiin Summer Crate, where you can help support everything we do over the Patreon. But you're going to get comics, Man of Steel, little 3D custom printed things, little toy, everything. Maybe Genesis will be inside. Ooh. And I mean the Phil Collins band, not what Jesse Custer has inside. So all 4 members of Genesis might be inside your envelope, but it'll help support everything we do on the YouTube channel. And it helps bring the word of God to the Anvil, Texas, that is Jawiin Studios. So there you go. We'll see you next week with another Preacher review. I'm Jason Inman.
I am Ashley Victoria Robinson.
And we'll be seeing you soon. And make sure you pray to God. Jesse Custer will get you.